Dear colleagues and friends, I hope you're well. My name is Carl, and I'm just going to share my screen here because I'm going to share a presentation that will describe the partnership team within the Food and Water Systems team of CARE USA. Who are we, first of all? Paul Demerit-Verone is based in Atlanta in the USA. He's our program officer for water and ecosystems. That's me in the middle, strategic partnerships lead, and on the right, Patience Mngoli-Mwale, who is our technical advisor for partnerships based in Lilongwe in Malawi. So we're a small team, and it's a cross-cutting team. We work in collaboration with all the technical teams across CARE USA's Food and Water Systems team and beyond. Our team objective is to support the Food and Water Systems team by coordinating partnership relationships and curating our impact area research agenda. So I'm going to come to that a little bit later on. We do this through brokering and facilitating and providing technical support, managing projects, carrying out research, supporting knowledge management and learning, supporting policy advocacy, and engaging with other teams, as I said, and with other parts of CARE, other member offices, country offices, regional offices. A word about CARE's definition on partnership. I think it's worth reminding ourselves what that is. Partnerships are relationships built on mutual trust, equality, and learning with an agreed vision, clear accountability for all parties, and which engage in complementary strengths to collaborate on specific objectives, challenges, or opportunities. Why does the Food and Water Systems team have strategic partnership relationships? Well, for lots of reasons. We have partners in design and implementation, for impact measurement and learning, for advocacy and influencing, for resource mobilization, and capacity strengthening. And what kind of partners? Lots of different kinds of partners. You can see a non-exhaustive list of the categories here: civil society, government and intergovernment, social movement, research and learning institutions, the private sector, international institutions and multilaterals, and of course, international NGO peers and alliances and networks. The blue text is where we do predominantly most of our work. Government and civil society is carried out mostly by our country office colleagues, and social movements is an area for improvement. CARE has partnership standards. I just want to flash this slide. No need to try and look at the detail, but it's worth noting that we have developed standards and they are available on SharePoint, and they address issues of reciprocity, of equality, of respect, of mutual learning, and of accountability. What are the aims of our partnership work within Food and Water Systems? And these are articulated in the impact area strategy for the right to food, water, and nutrition. The first aim is to drive scale of successful approaches. So that means engaging in alliance and partnerships that amplify CARE's work, and from which CARE can learn and are able to adopt programming or influence policy for greater impact at scale. And a great example here is the current work on the Farmer Field and Business School Scale Out program. We are partnering with the Farmer Field School team within FAO to achieve this scale aim. The second aim is strengthening partner autonomy and capacity. We work to reinforce capacities and transfer resources for learning, research, and programming and advocacy work. And there's very interesting work going on in the Southern Africa region, for example, where we are strengthening, working with national and regional partners to strengthen their capacities. We also do it to widen and diversify our partner base. We want to cultivate and develop gender relationships and partnerships that are gender transformative, working for the advancement of the right to food, water, and nutrition, and especially with partners representing small-scale women farmers. We want to challenge traditional partners existing partners. So we want to push partners in government, the UN and the private sector and academia to adopt strategies, tools and models and language and attitudes that advance gender equality in the right to food, water and nutrition. And I think our partnership with academic institutions is a good example here. We need to and are pushing academic partners to ask the right questions and therefore find the right answers. Another aim is to listen to and amplify the voice of impact groups through partnership. That's engaging with partnerships that ensure the testimony and lived experiences of impact populations are amplified in policy processes. And finally, improving our accountability. And this to identify and manage partnerships based on trust and accountability, and that social and environmental standards, rights obligations are met. What's the impact of our partnership work? Impact that we are seeing, but impact that we also want to see. Amplification of voice and leadership. This is incredibly important under CARE 2030, and that's a focus of our impact. It hugely increases visibility, reach, and audience. Partnership engagement automatically increases exposure to new audiences. It increases access to technical resources, capacity, and learning. No partner has nothing to offer, and that includes the smallest partner that we may be engaging with. There is always resource and capacity, particularly human resource and learning capacities. Partnership brings rigor to research and it strengthens reputation. This is especially important in research and learning partnerships. It increases access to and leverage of financial resources. We partner with other institutions to access funding, and that increases our chances of leveraging that funding. And finally, it drives impact at scale through programming and influencing. The point made earlier about engaging partners for scaling. What partnerships are we engaged with? This is a non-exhaustive slide. We are engaging with hundreds of partners, some in a formal manner, some in a less formal manner, but these are just some of the global and regional, private sector, public sector, academic sector, United Nations family, and others that we are supporting or engaging with, partnering with directly. The Committee on Food Security, the one that just popped up here, the Food and Water Systems team is supporting our policy advocacy team on its engagement with the Committee on Food Security. That's an important partnership because this is the most important policy-making body in the UN system around food and water systems. The WWF, CARE WWF Alliance is another critically important strategic partnership with a peer NGO, with a conservation NGO, and we have spent many years sharing technical knowledge, doing joint programming, and now engaging in a signature initiative around climate change. And FAO on the bottom right, there's hardly a more important UN partner that the CARE Food and Water Systems team is engaging with from lots of different technical learning and policy perspectives. For example, the Gender, Youth and Livelihoods team and all its work around gender transformative approaches with FAO. More partners here. These are more also regional and national and academic partners. Lots of technical bodies that are working in the agriculture space, some peer agencies. USAID can be and should be considered a partner, not just for funding, but for mutual learning and influencing. And in the bottom left, Wageningen, current research on agriculture and farmer field schools. So these are just some of the many examples that we have. Just one slide on our learning agenda. The partnerships team is curating the impact area learning agenda, and this is our main question. In food and water systems, what actions effectively advance gender equality, and what impact does gender equality have on the realization of the rights to food, water, and nutrition? And then under this, there are 4 lines of inquiry. Enhancing gender transformative programming, so how GTAs can advance gender equitable and sustainable impacts. Scaling success, what are the approaches that work in bringing successful innovations and models to scale? Addressing challenges in integrating humanitarian and development programming. That's about how gender transformative approaches and humanitarian action can combine to increase resilience and deliver gender justice. And finally, focusing on food and water insecure women and girls. So what are the specific solutions to reducing food, water, and nutrition insecurity among women and girls? A final slide, I've been asked to just mention our technical approach to adaptation and community-based adaptation within the wider food and water systems portfolio. And community-based adaptation is a paradigm that CARE is very much responsible for developing, was a pioneer. And on the bottom right, you can see the graphic that represents the community-based adaptation model. But it has evolved in recent years to be redefined as locally led adaptation. And locally led adaptation refers to climate adaptation in which local communities, community-based organizations, citizens groups, local government, and local private sector entities at the lowest administrative structures are included as decision-making in the interventions that affect them. So it's very much about horizontal and vertical integration and multi-stakeholder engagement. So I will leave it there, and thank you very much for your attention. Just to say that we are here if you need any support. We will be very, very happy to help. And we welcome any queries or questions that you might have, and any links to partners that you may be looking for. Thank you. Have a nice morning, or afternoon, or evening. Bye-bye.